And these mentors don't have to be like people who are like much older than you, or even your bosses. The mentors can even be your friends, people who are doing a lot in their lives that maybe you aren't doing at the time. And even that can inspire you to do so much more. But yeah, no, like I completely agree with like this external accountability needs to be there as well, because like if your friends are just telling you that everything you do is great, and that's not actually true, so you just develop this like huge ego and you think you're doing great things, but you're actually establishing or doing nothing with your life.
Salman and I hold each other Salman and I hold each other accountable as well, like both with work and with personal life. Like when I start to get off my rocker a little bit, or when I start to get like a little bit agitated, Salman calls me out on my bullshit, and vice versa. Like when I feel like he's becoming a little bit more of an asshole, so I call him out as well. So we've developed that level of accountability.
Hey guys. What's up? We're back. We've got a really exciting guest. I say this every time, but that's just because they're all so exciting. We've got Malik Muzzamil here with us. And fun fact, this guy has done a ton of stuff. I'd say he's a serial entrepreneur in the making, but that's just from what I've read about him. We're going to learn about whether that's true on this podcast. This man has his own digital marketing company. He is very involved in the Pakistani tourism scene. And he has some experience with podcasts and YouTube. So I think we've got some great stuff coming up. I want to jump right into it. Muzzamil, tell us a bit about yourself and what made you, start up any of these ventures that you've been involved in.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show, guys. I really appreciate that. So just, sorry, Salman, but like, I don't like it when people use the term serial entrepreneur to describe me or anyone who's like my age, because that sort of like implies as if, I don't know, it sometimes makes me feel like there's a negative connotation to it, as if you leave one thing before it's complete, then you move on to the next. But so what I try to do is I try to take everything to its completion and then maybe move on to the next project after that. So the digital marketing company that I've been involved with, Digillama, I founded that in February 2019. But we'll have to take a few steps back where I can tell you the journey that led me to starting this company.
Awesome. So, story time.
Yeah. So let me know if I'm rambling too much, whatever, by the way. You
Not
can
at
cut
all.
me off whenever. But anyway,
Bro, the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Awesome.
Just talk as much as you want. It's best if I talk as little as possible.
Okay, great. So 2017, we all went to Head Start together. I was, I think, 2 years senior to you guys in school. So I graduated 2014 in June. So my plan was go to university in Holland, have a great time, travel a lot, watch a lot of football. I was completely obsessed with football at the time. So yeah, I did all of those things, really happy with everything. Then I moved back to Pakistan in 2017 when I got done with my bachelor's, which was in arts and culture, which was very different from anything anyone else was doing in my batch, which is also why I wanted to do this degree. And it just seemed really cool. It was in English. It was taught in Holland, and I wanted to live in Europe. So I was like, yep, definitely going with this degree. But I got done with this degree, and I decided around my third year of university that I really want to study public relations, understand what that is, understand more about marketing, stuff like that. And that's what I wanted to focus on. And I decided to apply for my master's in courses like that. And I got into a university in the UK. I got offered a position in the public relations program for my master's at Newcastle University. And the reason I picked this university is actually quite funny because I was still super obsessed with football. So I picked Newcastle University because they had the best football program in all of England when it came to like university.
I thought you supported Newcastle. I was like, I thought you supported Newcastle as the team, and I'm like, this guy went to the fucking university. He's that hardcore of a fan. That's what I was expecting. But okay, he had a good football program. It was just because
I wanted to play at a high level, and that's why I applied to the university. But so that ended up being bad news because I didn't get my visa. I didn't get my UK visa. So when that happened, which was like August 2017, because I was done with my university, like with my bachelor's, I was really excited about going for my master's to a new country because get done with Holland. I was like, yes, let's now move to the UK, experience a different culture, experience a different country, all of that. But I was refused a visa. And that was very heartbreaking because I felt like at that point, I still wanted to enjoy the level of football that I was playing in Holland. I wanted to play at that level or maybe higher when I went to England, but I was denied that opportunity and I got stuck in Pakistan. And that ended up being the best thing that could have happened to me. So yeah, so not every bad thing is always a bad thing. There's always something like hidden that could lead to something good. Yeah, so that was a blessing in disguise. I didn't want to stay in Pakistan and do nothing. I hate doing that. I've always hated doing that. I always want to occupy myself with like something. I need something to do, otherwise I just go mad. So I applied for a job as soon as I found out that I'm not going to go for my master's. So the job that I applied for was at an online publication, which I'm not going to name because I no longer work there. But it was an online publication. They do a lot of like news related stuff. And the reason I got this opportunity, or I learned about this job opening, was because I interned at a news channel the year prior. And the person who I was working under, who was like the lead anchor of the show, he really liked the work that I did, and he was impressed with the work that I did, and I like was really happy with that. But he was happy with my performance, so he offered me a job. He's like, when you are done with university, you have a job at this like side business that I'm starting. So hit me up when you're back, and maybe we can figure something out. But at that time, I never took him seriously because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go for my master's. I'm gonna maybe spend like 2-3 years working abroad and then move back to Pakistan. But now that I hadn't gotten my visa, I was like, okay, now it's time to hit this guy up and try and get that job. So yeah, I applied for the job. He was like, yep, come right in. I went to their office, got the job. I worked there for 4 months. And even though they weren't like bad bosses or anything, the environment at work was a little bit toxic. And I felt like I plateaued. I wasn't growing anymore. I'd learned everything that I possibly could at this organization. And even though I just worked there for 4 months, I was already at the senior most position at the company after the owners. So I was like, I have all the responsibility, but I'm not growing anywhere. Like there's no promotion that I can get. The money that I was getting at like, this is my first job ever. Like it wasn't great to begin with, but like I wasn't in it for the money. I just wanted a good learning experience. But there was a point where I wasn't even learning anymore. So I was like, okay, let's call it a day now. So, and there was also like stuff going on in my personal life because due to which I was like, okay, I don't think I can continue to do this job. So I decided to quit and pursue a love of mine, which was filmmaking. So I used some of the money that I'd saved up from this job and I bought myself a digital camera, just a DSLR.
Which one?
I bought a Canon 80D because like I saw all these reviews on YouTube and I was like, and everyone's like, oh, this is a great like starter filmmaking camera to buy. And I was like, okay, let's go for it. Why not?
So hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like how the story's going and I want to hear all of it. But I want to pause and I want to talk about the fact that, so you mentioned you don't like being called a serial entrepreneur, and
yeah,
that's fair. That's totally fair because there is a negative connotation there. But I think what we should take a second to appreciate is the fact that every step of the story has been you showing initiative, right? It's been you deciding you want to do something, you deciding you want to grow. And I think that's the true skill that would lie behind anyone who's trying to grow in life, and especially someone who's trying to start up multiple ventures, even if it's not for the sake of starting something up and leaving, even if they just want to grow something for themselves. But that trait there is, I think, what we should like really value, because that's how you get from wherever you are to where you want to be, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm a strong believer of like in accountability. I feel like everyone needs to be accountable for their actions. There's a lot of people that maybe when you get to being as old as I am now, I'm 25. Maybe I might not sound too old, but like I've still reached that age where I know a lot of people my age who were maybe even a few years older than me, who blame every thing around them for their failures and never take accountability for why their life is the way it is, or why they're not finding success in their lives. And that becomes a problem.
Muzzamil, that's step one. That's step one to success. Number one, fucking just own it. Accept your mistakes, 100%. Accept your shortcomings, just own it and then go from there. And then also, I feel like step number two is having people who are worthy, people who you admire, holding you accountable as well. So internal accountability,
100%,
that's
yeah.
step one. Then there's a step number two, where you get mentors, people like your bosses or anybody you respect, to hold you accountable in a nice and in a positive way. I feel like that the combination of those two things just skyrockets you to newer and newer heights.
100%. And these mentors don't have to be like people who are like much older than you, or even your bosses. The mentors can even be your friends, people who are doing a lot in their lives that maybe you aren't doing at the time, and even that can inspire you to do so much more. But yeah, no, like I completely agree with like this external accountability needs to be there as well, because like if your friends are just telling you that everything you do is great, and that's not actually true, so you just develop this like huge ego and you think you're doing great things, but you're actually establishing or doing nothing with your life.
Salman and I hold each other accountable as well, like both with work and with personal life. Like when I start to get off my rocker a little bit, or when I start to get like a little bit agitated, Salman calls me out on my bullshit and vice versa. Like when I feel like he's becoming a little bit more of an asshole, so I call him out as well. So we've developed that level of accountability. Like today we were making a sponsorship proposal, and this guy was like, "Where's the sponsorship proposal, bro? I need it today. Kidhar hai, mujhe bhejo." I'm like, I'll have it to you, bro. So he set a deadline. So that pressure made me do it. I wouldn't have done it for like another week maybe if he hadn't like asked me like 3 or 4 times. So I'm just saying external accountability works, guys. It works.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Continue, Muzzamil. The floor is yours. Floor is yours. Continue.
Okay. So I guess we'll go back to the story then. So I quit my job March 2018. I get a camera. I teach myself how to edit videos. I had no previous like experience in doing any of this stuff. I probably made like one video in my life, which was just like a compilation of pictures where I just put music in the back, and I also had like no control of when the music stops or when the music plays. It's just like random music, random pictures. That's a video, and that's all I'd made before I bought myself a camera and taught myself everything. And so I wanted to keep a good routine even after I quit my job. I didn't want to lose that routine that I developed over the past few months. So I would wake up early in the morning and I'd spend the same amount of hours that I would typically spend at work. I would spend those hours on YouTube learning. So I just spend those hours like looking up tutorials on how to use my camera, how to lessons on writing screenplays, understanding filmmaking, all of those things. Listening to film criticism, stuff like that, and then learning how to video edit, obviously, as well. Learning the different softwares I could use, learning how to use the software that I do use really well. So yeah, all of those things. And then eventually, after watching all these tutorials, I realized, because they all ended up saying the same thing, okay, unless you actually practice and do it, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's so true for anything in your life. Like you can talk all the shit that you want, but unless you actually go and do it, you're never going to learn. Practical knowledge or practical education is the best way to learn, in my opinion. And that's why I really encourage people to get internships and like try to work as early as possible in their lives, because it provides a lot of people direction. Like when before I ever got an internship in my life, I was in my second year of university and I was directionless, and I was I was sure, and a lot of people around me were sure that I was going to fail out of university. But I got this internship, I performed well there, and the encouragement that I got during that internship and after motivated me to perform so much better in my third year that I managed to graduate very comfortably, even though my college counselor told me that perhaps I should drop out and take a different course. Because she's like, maybe you can't manage to take so many courses at once, because I had to make up for a couple of courses that I'd failed in my second year. But I was like, no, I just need to actually try and then I can do it. So yeah, I just put in the work, managed my time a little better, and graduated quite comfortably. But the point is do an internship, try and work, get some practical experience, and that will probably develop you as an individual. But coming back to the story, sorry, Salman, were you saying something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. I want to hear the story, so let's jump to it.
Let's go.
So after that, I took a short course at LUMS, a 6-week course in filmmaking, because I wanted to see if a formal education in this subject could help me in anywhere or not. And I was also considering going to film school, pursuing this full time. But after my experience at this course that I took at LUMS, I pretty much made up my mind that, okay, film school is not for me. Because I've always wanted to accomplish. So film school, it's because most places, it was a 4-year commitment. And the problem is that I want to do too many things with my life. I don't want to be known as just one thing, like, oh, he's a filmmaker, or, oh, he's a podcaster, or he is, I don't know, someone who knows digital marketing.
Yeah.
There's so much that I want to do in my life that I can't, I have sometimes trouble committing too much time to one thing as well. Like 4 years just in filmmaking would stop my progress in so many other things that I wanted to do. Like,
yo, Muzzamil, I agree with you 100%. Right now, I'm tied down to architecture. It's a 5-year degree, bro. Right now, my hands are shackled. I cannot. All these things that I'm doing, this is in my free time. This is all in my free time. When my time is taken up, my hands are shackled up. Salman's been with me. Like, I have an exam. My exams start next week, bro. My exams start next week. So straight up, my hands are shackled at the moment. So I understand the moment I get free and the moment I have the entirety of the 24 hours of the day, that is when I will be putting everything into 5th gear and blasting forward. But yeah, man, it's a 4-year commitment. That's a long time.
Yeah, so that's, you really have to think about a commitment like that. And even though I am really passionate about filmmaking, there's too many other things that I need to accomplish first before I can maybe commit myself fully to this creative pursuit.
What's one of those goals? What's one of those goals that you want to accomplish?
So one goal that I've had for a very long time is to be financially independent and be able to help out in supporting my family, even though they don't need my help. But still, I just want to contribute something substantial to them. I want to contribute to my society, to where I'm from. I want to have a positive impact on people, which is also why I've agreed to do something like this, which is a podcast, which is why I've hosted my own podcast as well, trying to bring on guests that could have a positive impact on any listener or viewer, because I want to have a positive impact on people around me or people who listen to me or follow me or anything like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the goal.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Okay, back to the story. Yeah, so Muzzamil, the floor is yours.
Back to the story. Where were we? Acha, so course alums decided not to do, not to pursue like a course in filmmaking, but still carry this forward. I started a YouTube channel called Burger Network. I made a bunch of random YouTube videos. I made 2 random short films, and they were so bad. I look back and cringe so hard at like the stuff I made earlier.
Bro, never delete them. Bro, never delete them.
No,
never delete them. Never delete them. Never ever do it. Yeah.
Do you want to know what one of Saad's earliest YouTube videos was? And I think for the first couple of years, it was the largest video he put out, like in terms of views. It was a skit comedy called My Roommate is Addicted to Eating Bricks, where he grabbed a random friend of ours and they just played out the story where this like guy he lives with has like an addiction to eating bricks. It made no sense at all. It was hilarious.
Saad, I've seen you, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. We're on the same page. It's fine.
Bro, buddy. At the time, I had 20 subscribers. That video got 4,500 views, bro. I was like, how the fuck is this thing blowing up?
That's insane, nice.
I was like, 20 subscribers, like 4,500 views.
150 of those are me. Because I've shown that to so many people. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
You need to send me a link to this after we're done.
I will. I'll send it to you, bro.
I will. We'll put it down below if anyone wants to watch.
Down below. Links down in the description below.
For Saad's media career.
But anyways.
Yeah, so coming back to the story. Yeah, so I started a YouTube channel. I was posting random videos. I did a review of, I don't know, a car that I had at the time, random review. And then I did a review of like the best tasting burgers in Islamabad. No idea why I was doing this.
What's the best tasting burger? What's the best tasting burger? I asked this for my friends.
I've changed my mind since then because that was 2018 and that was a long time ago. It's almost 3 years ago now. But at the time, from 3 spots that I visited, which were Jesse's, Street Burger, and Cannoli, I picked Street Burger because at the time I was really like in love with their burger. Even though like a couple of months after I was like, no, maybe Cannoli has the best burger now.
So what is it now?
Another place that has a great burger now, in my opinion, is Rustic. I think Rustic does the best.
Bro, I went to Rustic. It was fucking atrocious. It was atrocious, bro. I don't know. Maybe they were having a bad day. They gave me cold fucking sweet potato fries. I don't know, man. Oh, that's
really sad. I haven't been to Rustic in a little over a year. So I was still hoping it was going to be good when I went back.
We actually must have gone back in 2018.
Let's go together. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. We're going to try the burger again. This time it's going to be on a vlog. Burger Network and Saad Mahmood's vlog channel. Coming soon, boys.
Yeah. I can't wait to do that video. But no, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the rustic burger. It was great until at least a year ago. But okay, so yeah, on the YouTube channel, I was just doing random videos, and then I ended up spending. So I was doing all this stuff in Islamabad, and then I spent around 3 months in my village. And that was basically just me helping my brother out with his political campaign. And that was a very new and interesting experience for me because that exposed me to a lot of different things that I wasn't aware of. A lot of problems that people have in my local district, in my village, stuff like that. So that opened my eyes up to like a lot of things that I wasn't clear about Pele. And that also changed my views on where I should be going with my life and who I should be trying to help. So yeah, but it also helped me get over some of my fears, like public speaking. I wasn't used to that, but I ended up speaking in front of like large crowds, and
wow.
I was really proud of myself for managing to speak in front of 12 people in like month 1, and then by month 3, I was speaking in front of like much larger groups. So I was like, yes, okay, this is good progress.
Muzzamil, how's your Urdu? Considering that maybe you're from that village and you probably have to speak in Urdu. How's your Urdu generally? Khalis Urdu?
No, so my Urdu is not good. And the reason for that is because Urdu is not my native language. What we speak in my village is my native language. It's similar to Saraiki. It's not fully Saraiki. It's a mix of Punjabi, Saraiki. There's a bit of Sindhi in there.
So are you good at it?
It's a weird mix. But yeah, so that's the first language I learned how to speak. So in my house, we mostly speak that language or English. Urdu, we don't speak a lot. So I always struggled with Urdu in school as well, because I didn't speak it that much at home, or I didn't speak it much with anyone else. But yeah, so my Urdu generally is not that good. But obviously, working professionally in Pakistan, it's improved a lot in the past couple of years even.
Of course, bro. Of course. Seriously,
really nice. So, I think what I want to know, Muzzamil, is, so you've got a couple of things going on, and you've talked about how you have multiple passions you like pursuing. What are one or two of the big ones that you really see yourself like devoting a lot of time and energy to grow in the next couple of years?
So the marketing company for sure is something that I want to grow.
The name is interesting. Digillama. Digillama. Yeah, the name is interesting. How did you get to that? Quick, jaldi.
So real quick, the name came from me having this vision for the logo, which was a llama wearing shades. Very random, no idea why I had this idea, but I was like, I want my mascot for my company to be a llama, a cool ass llama wearing shades. And I imagined the logo, even though I'm not like a designer or anything. I have a very basic understanding of Photoshop and Illustrator, but I'm not a designer by any stretch. And I had one graphic designer who worked with me, and I was like, ye vision hai, try to come up with something like that. And then my partner at the time, who's the co-founder of Digillama, he came up with the name, because I was like, let's do something, but with llama at the end, so the logo makes sense. And then I was looking for different words in different languages for marketing. So we came upon the Turkish word for marketing, which was like pazir. So I was like, oh, pazir llama, even though I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing this word correctly. But I was like, oh, let's go with that. And he's like, no, that sounds shit. Let's go with, why don't we make it Digillama, because we're doing digital marketing. And I was like, oh, that's a great name. Let's go with that. And yeah, we've just been committed to that since.
Nice.
But yeah, so real quick, let me just speed over the story. I feel like I'm taking too long with this. But okay, so I came back from my village after this whole exposure to something I wasn't used to. And I had this opportunity. A friend of mine worked for this media company that had just gone up for sale. And it was like very small at the time, so it didn't have a large following or anything. And the person still wanted to sell it. And it was a reasonable enough price where I was like, okay, I will buy this company from still money I had left over from when I worked. I brought in my brother as like a added investor to put up like a bit of money with me. And I basically started running this media company by the name of The Weekly Pakistan. And this existed, but everything that they did was very different from what I tried to do after. I wanted to provide a voice and a platform to people that don't typically get that voice or platform. And I wanted to cover a lot of stories that don't get mainstream attention in Pakistani media. But yeah, so I started a podcast in 2018, but I was really inconsistent with it, which is why before we started recording, Saad, I was talking about how consistency is really important. And so you brought it up and I agreed with how important that is, because I realized that if I had been consistent with my podcast in 2018, when in Pakistan, by the way, nobody was doing a podcast back then. Like, it was so alien a concept.
Nobody, bro. The landscape
so if we were
changes like this.
With that, it would have been great. But we weren't consistent. And I'm still not consistent with my podcast. And that makes me really angry. But I will start being more consistent with my podcast. This is like a reminder for myself for when I listen to this. But anyway, so I started the media company. That was going well. We were doing well with content. We were getting a lot of views in some of the videos that we were doing. But what I realized real quick was that it's very difficult to make money with a media outlet if you don't want to compromise on your ethics. If you don't want to like sell your soul, it's very difficult to make money. And I was like, I have these people who work for me. I don't want to keep spending out of pocket. I need to make like a sustainable business model that covers my company expenses, and I can maybe even make a profit out of this, because like I want to make a living. Because I didn't have a job, obviously, because I was working for myself now. But anyway, so that's when we, my partner and I at the time, we decided, let's start a digital marketing company, because I was really interested in marketing. I had some experience managing pages and running ads and stuff like that. And I had developed, in the past year, some experience in photography and videography. So I was like, these are some essential skills that I have that can be used to set up a marketing company. Or at least a digital marketing company to begin with. So we're like, okay, so let's set up the digital marketing company that'll help us pay the bills for the Weekly Pakistan and all that. We set it up with, it was literally just myself and my partner. We're the co-founders. We are Digillama, and we hired one graphic designer. So it was the three of us who started this company with literally zero investment, because the graphic designer, we weren't paying him a salary. We were going to pay him a percentage of what our clients would pay us. So let's say we got a client that was paying us like X amount of money. We told our graphic designer that we'd pay you 20% of what that client gives us, and you make us this number of posts or designs for what they need. So that's the arrangement we worked out. So I started this company literally with zero investment in an office, by the way, which was like a friend's office. So I wasn't paying rent or anything. So we literally started in like a proper startup phase, no money to start with. We didn't invest money into this.
When you have zero money, you have to get fucking creative, bro. Use your friend's apartment.
Too hard.
Use your friend's apartment. Use a rundown phone as a mic. Use another phone as a video camera. I don't know, man. Like,
So I was going to this office, which was in D12 in Islamabad, and I live in Banigala in Islamabad. And for people who are from Islamabad, know that that's like a 50-minute drive. But like, I obviously recognize that I have a lot of privilege in my life that's led me to be able to do these things. Like, I'm not paying for the petrol in my car when I'm doing these trips with my startup. Like, I have a family that supports me, that can that leads me to be able to make these decisions or take these risks. And I understand that not everyone has that privilege or opportunity even. So I really, I try not to take any of these things for granted, because like these are things that actually help you. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that stop me from doing what I want to do. Like this is something, I had a conversation with someone I connected with recently, and he's a social entrepreneur. So like his startup is very dedicated to like helping society. And something that he told me really like resonated with me. And he's like, I use my privileges, all the privileges that I have, that I went to a good university, I went to a good school, I have a good network, my family has a good network. I use all of those network and connections and everything to help my company, because I know that I do good. And he's like, I have no shame in using my connections or my privilege. And I'm like, that's great. Because at the start, I was so hesitant in using any connections or any help from my family to run my business. Because I was like, nahi, ye khud karne hai, bas aur koi option
exactly,
stuff like that.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
But I feel like just because you're born with privilege doesn't mean you should reject that privilege. You could use that privilege to do a lot of good as well.
Exactly.
Listen,
our parents.
Wait,
hold up, Saman.
Okay.
Our parents came from, let's say, probably nothing to something. It's our job to go from something to something much, much, much greater. Use that as a launching pad.
It pisses me off so much when people are satisfied with where they are.
I swear, bro, I wanna fucking
know
slap
why,
them
but-
across the face, bro. You can, like, dude, you're 23 and you think you've made it when you have like fucking 50,000 Instagram followers, buddy. Get 500,000. Figure out a way
No,
to
but
get
that's
even
even
better.
great. If someone has 50,000 Instagram followers, that's still great. That shows some initiative. There's people
Yeah.
that I know personally as well who are just born into a family that supports them and they're comfortable living that way and are comfortable not doing anything with their lives just because they know that they can have a very comfortable life. And
Wow.
that drives me
That's kinda
insane
sad.
because I'm like,
That's
you should
sad.
have your own identity. You should try and develop yourself or
Yeah.
make something out of yourself. You shouldn't rely on your family to support you or for you to live off your family your whole life.
Exactly, bro.
100%.
Salman, I
Like
think
that
we're
was
running
exactly
really close
what I
on
was
time.
gonna say, Saad. So you got me there. Like it's
Yeah.
it's okay to be born with privilege, like that's normal.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything, that's where it's not great. You know, that's where it's sad and that's where people
Yeah,
fall
man.
back.
I agree
So,
with
yeah.
you. And on that note, guys,
Listen.
thank you so much for joining us, guys. We have to cut it short. We went overtime. He's all
Sorry
No,
for
don't
talking too
apologize. This was an awesome story. This was a journey.
Bahut
This is
maza
what
aaya,
we're
yaar.
here for, man.
Yeah, thank
yeah.
you. Dude, I think Muzzamil is like the only guest where Salman and I have shut the fuck up for like 90% of the time. Like the guest just went on, which is great. I'm just happy. I was just like
I love
enjoying
it.
the story and the life and everything.
Sorry, I'm
Alright,
used to
guys.
like a longer format of podcast, so I
It's
would
all
like to
good. We told you, bro. 20
Talking
minutes
too
fly
much.
by. Yeah, alright guys, we're
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Peace,
They do fly
adios,
by.
goodbye.
All right, thank you so much for having me.